Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are based. My name is Mario Kirsten, and I'm the VP for Fieldglass at ASAPIO and the product manager of the SAP Fieldglass Integration Add-on. And I'm happy to present you today this session, giving you the latest updates from our Feature Pack 12 release, which was released in April, just a few weeks ago. So the presentation will look like that I give you some updates on some highlights that are now available with the Feature Pack 12 and some further enhancements, improvements. Then I would like to give you an update on our roadmap, what we are planning to do in the upcoming releases of the SAP Fieldglass Integration Add-on. And last but not least, we'll give you the chance to ask your questions. If you have some, you can use the chat all the time, and I will look at the chat afterwards, and we'll try to answer all the questions that came up through the session. Good. Then let's start with some release updates from our Feature Pack 12 of the SAP Fieldglass Integration Add-on. The first thing I would like to highlight here and want to mention as clean core as a phrase and the topic. Clean core with SAP S/4HANA Cloud is a big topic everywhere for SAP itself, and of course for every customer. We are happy now to announce that the SAP Fieldglass Integration Add-on fully complies with the clean core requirements. It's compliant with the level C of the clean core for S/4HANA Cloud, which is of course a big advantage for every end customer using the add-on, as they are now sure that there are no unsupported modifications, that there are no unforeseen risks or problems that might come up in future upgrades of the SAP system. So that risk is reduced, and yeah, I mean it's using the whole foundation of S/4HANA Cloud strategy, also to be in line with the future strategy of SAP itself. So this is now fully compliant with our April release. The next thing I want to mention is a feature that we introduced a while ago, talking about the Event Hierarchy 2.0 feature in Fieldglass in the Services Procurement module. The add-on supports since a couple of releases the contract lookup functionality. Contract lookup gives you the view of your contract data in your S4 or ECC system in terms of header data, contract items, as well as contract conditions that are technically loaded into 3 different picklists into Fieldglass, and then are joined by a data set into that contract lookup that you can then use in the Fieldglass UI. For example, when you're going to itemize an SOW line item which is maybe of a type of a limit value, and then the supplier can say, okay, I know I'm going to itemize and want to invoice a couple of services that I delivered to my customer, and these services then picked from that contract lookup. In the past, we had hard requirements. Call it hard requirements on the naming of those picklists, how you configure them in Fieldglass. But as every customer might have different requirements on naming conventions, etc., how those picklists should be named in Fieldglass itself. We, in the add-on side, are now capable of handling that dynamically. So that means whatever picklist name is created or configured in SAP Fieldglass, we can also now configure this name in the add-on, in the configuration of the interface, and then dynamically create and send the picklist data to Fieldglass based on the configuration. Additionally, we also have a further, let's say, fail-safe improvement on the whole interface for replicating the contract data into Fieldglass, into the Lookup, where we have an additional check if the supplier is a valid supplier for Fieldglass, that we don't come into the situation anymore that we might send contract data from suppliers that don't exist in Fieldglass. There was, I don't know, a little chance of an issue in the past, which has now been fixed with that fail-safe additional validity check in that interface. Good. Then the next, it's a highlight for us. I know we are here in an English-speaking session and webinar, but still we have a big German-speaking customer base using the integration add-on. So we have one of our features or main features in the add-on is the integration dashboard. So this is, if not everyone is aware, so this is the tool that is not supposed to be an admin tool. So this is not the monitoring transaction that's supposed for admins, but the integration dashboard is supposed to be used by business users, that they can always check based on different search criteria where their document, where their current transaction is currently sitting at. For example, if they created a purchase order in the backend system and expected them to create an SOW in Fieldglass, that they can always see what is the status, where is it sitting, is there maybe a problem, or is it still waiting an approval step, all these different scenarios. And with our April release, we now have that also available, fully translated into German, means the different selection screens, as well as also the result screens and the overview. So this is an update for German-speaking customer base who want to use, or maybe wanted to use the dashboard in the past, but didn't use it because it was only available in English. They can now use it and have it in full German localization. And then just a few further updates. What is part of the latest release? We have introduced, sounds quite technical, response handler functions, but for the posted invoice interface into Fieldglass, as well as for the paid invoice interface into Fieldglass. But what does it mean from a functional side? It means that when in that interface we are sending several records to Fieldglass. Of course, every record can get a different response back to the sender, so to the integration add-on. And these technical response handler features or functionalities that we now introduce into the product are really checking each and every response per record, and are then able to handle it correctly. So that means if there's an update on the status in Fieldglass that went wrong to the Fieldglass invoice, we are then now able to follow up on that on the integration side, and are also on the other hand side able to mark all the successful messages in the monitor as well as in the integration dashboard. So this is now new available, so requires a little config update to the interface in the add-on that we can add these response handler functions for existing legacy customers, and of course for net new customers who receive the add-on in the latest release. This is part of the initial deployment activities, that the response handler functions are configured. We have some code improvements as for every release that I want to mention here. So we have in the download the interface where we are loading supplier master from Fieldglass into the backend system, into ECC or S/4HANA, to update the vendor master in that system. We have some code improvements in terms of leading zeros on the vendor ID, because there is not a clear rule to follow in Fieldglass for the backend vendor ID if they are maintained with or without leading zeros. So more or less also a fail-safe implementation here to not run into issues in the future. And in our purchase order to SOW upload XML interface, we introduced a new conversion routine for the product or for the material group. So just minor adjustments in terms of code improvements that I can mention here for those interfaces. And then we have an improvement for interface that is loading the PO attachments into Fieldglass. Here we introduced a new enhancement spot within the standard interface that customers can now decide, okay, I want to clear whatever attachment is identified and coming out of the purchase order. I can override, or I can clear this attachment, and I can override with any other attachment data that I want to implement in the system. So in the past, we did have already enhancement spots in that interface, giving you the chance to send custom data when there was nothing from an attachment perspective found in the standard, but you didn't have the chance to override the standard. So in this new functionality now gives every customer the chance to override whatever comes out of the purchase order with any custom attachment data. Good. Having a look onto what's next in terms of roadmap and strategy of the integration add-on. We have a couple of big ones where we are already working on for our next release, which is planned for end of October this year. Couple of things that we have on the roadmap for a while and had to be postponed due to different reasons in the past, but now we are confident we are sure that they finally are delivered in a way from Fieldglass that we can also bring it into the next release. One of the big ones we are eagerly, or some customers are also eagerly waiting for, is the multi-line work order integration. What does it mean? For everybody who is not familiar, is we want to enable the spend metrics functionality on the contingent work orders as, let's say, the new standard to enable a multi-line functionality that every customer can create with the spend metrics, different line items on a work order. Best example that I always hear from customers is, I want to have one line item for the actual work the external worker is doing, and I want to have a different line for the expenses of that external worker, because we have different cost objects that where it should be booked to, and so on and so forth. So this is the big one we are working on, and are already in testing phase at the moment. So then the next one, also with the multi, is called multi-itemization integration. What does it mean? Fieldglass introduces a new feature as generally available with the Fieldglass November release, to allow from the Fieldglass UI, when you're going to itemize an SOW line item, to not choose only one service for your itemization, but to choose several, so n number of services to do the itemization at one point in time, which is then creating a different output from a technical integration perspective. It's a complete new interface technically that we have to implement, which then ultimately leads into also a multi-line SES. So plans, how would it look like? It's more or less a mirroring of all the lines that you did in the SOW line item itemization, and each and every line is then mirrored to a line on the service entry sheet. Now I said it's planned for the November release from Fieldglass. How should we bring this then on our October release? Due to the, let's say, good working relationship between us and the Fieldglass product team, we have this feature as a limited availability already available in our development tenant, and have the chance to implement against this feature, and with a clear target to have that functionality out with our next release. And then what we also want to release with the October release of the add-on is our maintenance views that we had in the past, or that we still have and will have, to configure the whole add-on, as well as to maintain all the various other tables that we have in place that are required in terms of configuration, driving different scenarios, as well as also to have a look into the reference tables for different user roles and so on. They will be available as Fiori apps for our S4 customers with the next release. Another big one is the account assignment category X. This is also something that Fieldglass introduces with a May release. We are looking to enable that feature in the integration for the enhanced limit items in lean services, because also with the with S/4HANA 2025 FPS1, I think it was, it's also then available in lean services in S/4HANA. So we want to allow and want to bring that functionality also in the integration add-on to handle the account assignment category X on those line items. What we're also working on our S/4HANA clients, I mean, we still have a big customer base on ECC, but of course, we also have a lot of customers on S/4HANA on the different versions and releases, and this is growing. We want to ship a complete new set of master data interfaces or extractors that are then fully based on CDS views. That means we still have our existing master data interfaces as part of the product. They will exist and they will stay. That's not the plan to remove them, but for S/4HANA only customers, we will have the chance to switch to the new extractors using CDS views. Looking further into the future of the integration add-on, there's still the pub/sub feature or functionality within Fieldglass where we want to look into to change the integration strategy for the download connectors that are currently implemented or part of the architecture to use the pub/sub strategy, subscribing to the data objects in Fieldglass instead of pulling the data from Fieldglass. And then what we have on our roadmap with the November release of Fieldglass, Fieldglass has on the roadmap to introduce revision functionality on miscellaneous invoices, which is a thing our customers were asking for, I think, since a very long time. So, and when this is coming, of course, we will build that into the integration as well. And also, what is on the roadmap from Fieldglass for November is a native product group object. But the add-on is then also planning to integrate with the next release in 2027 to have an interface to replicate the material groups into the product group. And of course, has not only an impact on the master data to have a new master data interface in place, but also a big impact on all the existing transactional integrations where the product group is then delivered natively. Yeah, I have to say all the features that we have here on our roadmap and we are planning to release in those dates of course, may move due to availability and stability, also on connector side and integration side in Fieldglass. But as I said in the beginning, I'm at the moment very confident that the things that we have locked in here will be delivered with the next release. Good.